Greetings, comrade. I decided to put a small part of 4 in this lesson on followership because one thing I wanted to bring out, even when I was thinking up and meditating on what we should speak on next, was nationhood. And we understand that when we have a nation of people who share the same interests and people who share the same sufferings, people who share the same history of slavery like we have as Black Africans, we are really a set apart group. We're what you call U.S. slave descendants of African national origin, an ethnic resident in a territory called the United States. And I got that definition from the Self-Determination Committee. Is an organization that came out sometime in the 90s, maybe late 80s. And I believe that leader is no longer with us. But I love that definition. I used it in the beginning of my book, the introduction of my book. So nationhood is something we all want to feel a part of something. We all want to be loved. We all want to be welcomed. We all want to be treated right, treated fair, treated justly. And in the African experience, being colonized or whether being enslaved, that part of history causes us to have to really work hard to be good followers, considering the discomfort that we have to go through continuously of being ill-treated. One of the things that motivated me to bring this topic is not only through meditation and going to the Creator to ask what would be a good next topic, but all of these things that were said in parts 1, 2, and 3 about cooperating with each other, appreciating leadership, appreciating good people, being loyal to those who are leaders over you, keeping your mouth shut when you don't have anything good to say. All these things says something about a good character that you have, that God has worked with you. But one aspect that I'm bringing to the table on this platform is that when you can't get what you need from a particular country that has defaulted on a promissory note, something that they said that they would deliver to you, deliver to us as a people who are so-called slave descendants. They would deliver a mule, 40 acres and a mule. They would deliver land, and they would give you justice. And they changed and put amendments in the Constitution to include you to be other than 3/5 of a human being, trying to bring you up to par. And now we have those descendants of slave masters today saying, get rid of the affirmative action, get rid of people as young as 20 years old, 21. I've sat there and debated with them. I'm old school. Debated with these youngsters that talk about we don't need affirmative action, we don't need this and that. And they have only been on the planet 20 years. 21 years, they already talking what they probably hear their parents and grandparents telling them. When you're in a situation like that, you get somebody like Moses' story that I'm talking about, and they bring you out. You go to another land. And I read that scripture, I think in part 1, it was the first thing that I read, was how the people who had all this faith in the book of Hebrews, and I believe it was the, let me grab it here because I don't want to misquote. The 11th chapter of Hebrews, around verses 13 through 17 or something, and then some other scriptures along that chapter. They were talking about how these people with faith, they had promises from God, promises of good things, but they never fulfilled it or never got to see it. But it was a hope, and that there was a hope of a greater life. And that many agnostics kind of criticize Christians for being delusional or thinking that they're going to have something in the heaven high in the sky when you're catching hell every day on the earth. Cool. That's understandable. Well, let's keep, we don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. We want to keep There's a good way to serve God. There's a good way to receive God, and there's also an improper way to receive God and to receive persecution. So we want to keep the good, good, and the bad, bad, and we don't want to throw the good away with the bad, okay? So they said that these people, now I'm going to read this just a little bit, and it has a meaning to it. That's why I want to bring it back again. But it said in verse 14 of chapter 11 of Hebrews, it says, "For they say such things, declare plainly that they seek a country. And truly, if they had been mindful of that country from whence they came out, they may have had opportunity to return." Whatever the case is, if they saw something good in a country that they were in, they may have even gone back to it. But if they saw something in visionaries, that was better or better hope, whether it's in this life or life is to come, they were wanting that other country. And so this is a message to my people in the diaspora that have been separated from the continent. Should you not get what you need from the West, justice, peace, the right to be protected in your own home without somebody kicking your door in and blowing you away, even if you're a female that they weren't even looking for, like they did in Kentucky recently, and brothers putting themselves on the line, speaking out about the injustice that they did, and they want to throw him in jail. One of the leaders of one of the militias, they put him, and now he's in prison. It's just a system that has like a python, like a brother told me. Just eventually you get wrapped up, and it squeezes you, and it closes in on you, and now you're on the wrong other side of the law now, because you spoke up, or you did something technically wrong, and they lunged on you. They was waiting for you to mess. That's the kind of system that you're living in. If you see these things, that's telling you they don't really respect you. They don't really care for you. I can sit back and see that. I might lose my freedom just one little incident. That's the kind of system that you're living in when you're in America, in the West. And so there's some people that mean well that are European. There's some people that mean well, but that's not enough. John Brown was this one man in history that rose up against the slave institution, started shooting folks, and his sons were involved in it, and they lost their lives because they were tired of that slave system and whatever else they didn't like. And there was white folks that put themselves on the line. We don't have many of those out there. So we have to fight this battle for ourselves. We have to come up with our own solutions. Thank God will bless them, but we have to still do our own thing. Like Gandhi in India said, the British didn't need to help them get free or do what they need. They need to prove to themselves they can do it on their own. So this is a message to the African in the diaspora that keeps talking about they're American. Quote, "I'm an American." Quote, "I'm from North America." Fine. I'm not going to take that from you. But watch your attitude. And whatever you claim to be, watch your attitude about how you disclaim to be African. Just watch your attitude on how you disclaim to associate yourself with your people. You're not like Moses. You're not in the spirit of Moses. And I told you, God loved that man. God looked down, and that man made those choices before God chose him. So God even likes, according to the history and the story, God even saw something in that kind of man. He saw something in that apostle named Saul of Tarsus, who was later Paul, when they were laying coats down at his foot when they were stoning Christians. He saw something in that man. I'm not going to say he sees something in bad men, but he was able to look past that guy and see that this guy is the type of dude that can get things done because he means well. He gets his mind set and his heart set on what's right. If he knows it's right, he's going to carry it out. And that's why he chose those brothers. So if you seek something and you can't get it, and America cannot give that to you, consider the homeland. Consider Africa. Maybe Africa can't deliver. But if you come out from the U.S. and you decide to go to the homeland, remember what the children of Israel, don't complain about you can't drive up to McDonald's and order you a number 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 combo meal, sandwich only. Don't complain because you can't go up to Dairy Queen, get yourself a triple cone, vanilla, a cherry on top. Don't complain when you don't see soul food restaurant. Don't complain when you don't see skyscrapers. Don't complain when you don't see elevators and you have to walk up to the 3rd floor. Don't complain about the diet. Just come in and fix the situation. Be an entrepreneur. Be a innovative African person that can add and bring things to the continent. You got Negroes with mentalities that go and see something. They go and scope it out. Man, I went over there. There wasn't nothing out there, man. There wasn't nothing out there but a whole bunch of ruined down buildings and desert land. And man, you got another mentality to go out and say, hey, I see some real potential here. We could do a lot with this. You need to be innovative. The slave masters always provided for us shelter, pig, food, beatings, and everything for us. We didn't have to do anything but just go out and do labor. They don't have to use our mind. When you come to Africa, you got to use your brain. You got to use your leadership. You got to use your followership. Don't go out here and come out on the continent and criticize. Bring your black African self out here and begin to add to it. If you can't handle it financially, you can't make it, go back to the U.S. and have your heart turned towards your people like Moses and start sending and building. Tell them that you want to build a skyscraper here, you Negro entrepreneurs that's in the U.S. trying to shine your teeth before a whole bunch of white folk trying to look good. Bring your skyscraper here, put your name on it, and do it for your people in Africa, your motherland. That's your mother. So when they say they desired a new country in this scripture I just read, they're talking spiritually. But even when they were taken out from Joseph's time and they integrated into Egypt, you know why they integrated into Egypt? Because of geography, because famine, drought, that makes you move to other places so that you can get things that you need. So Joseph eventually blessed the people in his family. So don't criticize what God may have for you. All these people talking about you don't want to go back to Africa. Keep your black African self over there, your American self in the continent, but watch your attitude toward how you see people who are pioneers, who are what do you call those kind of people? Pioneer scouts, people that go and do what some people talk about. Man, I tell you, I've traveled to Africa several times, and I have my biggest thing that I probably complain about them daggone mosquitoes burning you. They're aggressive, boy. They are aggressive. I never seen none, but I had problems like that also in the U.S. So all I'm saying is, if people can't deliver to us what you need, start looking for other places to live. You don't have to stay there. You don't have to stay. You don't have to deal with that police brutality. You can go and have a house, a car, and something of your own in some other country. Start looking at other places. America can't deliver what they said on paper. You can go somewhere else. You might have to start from scratch or something. But like those children of Israel, what's your attitude? If you come out and you fall under the leadership of other countries and stuff, respect their laws, respect their women, respect their people. Don't go talking about, I didn't go through all this in the United States. I'm going to take myself. Watch your attitude, because you can make the difference. Don't look to everybody to hand you stuff like you on a plantation. Come out and do some creating yourself, and they may give you that floor. If they don't give it to you, that's one thing. But if they give you the opportunity, do right. There's some beautiful brothers I've seen that could have been used very well in the U.S. And the U.S. just beat those brothers down, put them in jail and everything. Some of them still incarcerated. So that I had to come back because that was one of the main points that I had for coming and talking about this followership. My time is out. Man, know thyself, as Imhotep said. Peace, love, and God bless you.